Hi, everyone. Welcome to Soul Connections. I'm your host, Polly Jo Labbe, here on the Trinity Temple of Sacred Wisdom YouTube channel. Thanks so much for those of you who are joining us live. And if you're watching the recording, you're still going to get the same energy and experience and transformation. So we are here to connect you with your soul, with your higher self, and with your spiritual team. And your spiritual team might be your angels, your guides, your ancestors, your animal beings, your star beings, all divine of the highest, fullest, and brightest vibration available to you in this moment. And this is how we tap into our innermost wisdom. That's how we tap into what our soul is yearning to experience and express. And it all comes from that grounded connection and releasing the stressors of our day and our week and the world around us. So that's what we're here for. So thanks for joining us. After our meditation and our healing, I will be pulling cards with messages from your spiritual team and mine. And so tonight's deck is the Great Eastern Oracle by Rassouli. I've used this a couple of weeks now, but it's still asking to be used. So I think the messages have been really spot on and clear and concise, so that people have had something to grab onto and take with them into their week ahead. So if you would like a message, all you have to do is type in yes, please. And there's probably a few people who have already done so because they know the drill. And I pull for every single person who asks. So don't worry about the time or whether I'll get to you. I make sure to get to everybody who asks for it. So there you have it. As long as you're here live in the recording, I can honor that. So that is us here now. So let's get ourselves started. Let's get into that comfy place where we can just kind of let our body, our mind, our spirit just relax for a little bit. So I'm going to invite you to cozy up in the chair or on the bed, on the floor, wherever you may find yourself in this moment. We want to make sure that we're fully supported. Make sure our arms and our legs are uncrossed so that energy can flow through us evenly without getting caught, without any hesitation. With each deep breath, I'm going to invite you to breathe in spirit and breathe out any stressors from the day, the week, the year. Again, breathe in that luscious energy of spirit. And breathe out any angst, any confusion, any frustration. One more time, taking a deep breath in, letting everything else out with like a sigh or a noise. Just allow yourself to breathe out, add a little voice to the tension that's leaving your body. Just take a moment to check in with your body. Notice if your neck is sore, if there's any tension in your shoulders, any tightness in your hands, your forearms, your shoulders. If there's any pressure in between your shoulder blades. If there's any tightness in your abdomen, lower back, your hips. in your thighs, your calves, your feet. And just inviting the divine energy to help you gently release any tension, any constriction you are holding in the muscles, these beautiful muscles that support us, giving them a moment of rest and recuperation. And we're going to bring our focus and our attention to our heart in this moment, feeling into all the layers of the heart, the physical and the chakra, even the heart of your soul, the heart of your inner child. And we're going to invite our heart to hold our energy and help us to ground. And just imagine a giant anchor or cord of connection that moves down through your body, down your spinal cord, down through your belly button, down your tailbone, down your legs, through your feet, into the earth, inviting it to go deeply beneath all the layers of the earth, not only going down, but also spreading out to hold you like the roots of a giant tree. And just inviting that heart to really hold you in this steady energy, reconnecting with the divine feminine and grandmother earth beneath our feet, allowing that energy to really surround and hold those roots, that cord, that anchor, not only beneath your feet, but all the way up your legs, up into your hips and your pelvic floor, holding and nourishing your spine and all your organs, bringing all the way back up to your heart, allowing that warm, comforting energy to be present. And then asking your heart to connect with the divine above, the divine masculine. And as we do so, moving our cord or our anchor up through the heart, through our throat, behind our eyes, out the top of our head, up through our soul star chakra, imagining that anchor and that cord traveling through the cosmos to the central sun, to the place where our soul was first perceived, anchoring in that gooey energy of creation and allowing that energy now to just flow down to us and through us to rejuvenate, to recharge, to send healing to any places in our physical body, in our emotions or our thoughts, where we need support, loving kindness, acceptance. maybe even a little forgiveness, dissipating any anxiety, overwhelm, stress, frustration, righteous anger that we've been holding on to. Breathing in some space for our soul to have room to express itself, releasing any limitations or restrictions that we have held on that expression of our own or through our family or society. Releasing the energy that has held us tightly. And sending energy out through all the layers of our aura, boosting the energy of our immune system, strengthening our boundaries with others, and even sending healing out through any lifetimes we've experienced in the past or in the future, healing out through our generations, our ancestors, inviting the healing to go where it is needed, where it is wanted. Remembering that all of the healing energy and work that we do here in the sacred temple is for the good of all and harm to none, as always. And just gently surrounding our inner child with love and comfort, a sense of protection, as they navigate this soul's journey with us. Awakening their joy, their excitement, their curiosity. So that it may awaken within you as well. And inviting our spiritual team to come nice and close so that we can sense, know, feel, and experience the deepness of that connection. We understand and know that you are always with us. Sometimes in our humanness, we forget or we have difficulty sensing it. So just inviting you to come a little closer to be with us. Filling our hearts with gratitude at that connection, that love, that support. Inviting in any wisdom or messages that would like to be shared with you this evening. Whether it is through the readings, it is through automatic writing, or messages you may receive in your sleep, or through synchronicities in the days that follow. Welcoming in all forms of communication from our teams so that we can feel that divine support as it surrounds and protects us. And we're going to invite our teams to stay close as we begin to dissolve our meditative state, welcoming them to be present with us through the guidance, through the wisdom. And I'm going to invite you to start to come back into your space that you are in. You might start by stretching or yawning, rubbing your hands together or your feet. Maybe noticing the clothes on your body or the air flowing in your room. Maybe there's a scent of food cooking or incense burning, whatever your senses are picking up. And just allowing yourself to feel that physical body, all the ways it holds you and supports you. And gently bring yourself back. Nice. Welcome back, everyone. Glad to have you here. So if you would like a message from my team and yours, all you have to do is type in yes, please. I'll be happy to do a reading for everybody who asks. And tonight's deck is the Great Eastern Oracle by Rassouli. And this has been a powerful deck for the past couple weeks, and it still wants to be read. So we're going to use that tonight, which is exciting. I always love when the cards are like, it's my turn. And that was very clear again tonight. So let's see who is on tap. Kevin, hi, dear. Nice to have you. We're very happy to have you in our space. All right. So this card says, see beneath the surface. Dig deeper and find the ruby. Very cool. So one of the things that happens is that we see the superficial. We see what's right on the surface, and we don't always have the time or the inclination to kind of dig deeper to see what nuggets are beneath the surface. And a ruby doesn't look all beautiful, red and shiny in its natural form. It pretty much looks like a rock, but it has a little bit of a hint of a sheen, but you have to be paying attention to find it. And what I'm sensing is that as you are going along on your healing journey at this moment, you know, there's a lot of things that are at the surface that are drawing your attention. But underneath that is the not just what is happening, but why is it happening? And when we go into the why, we start to go into the thoughts, the beliefs, the patterns that have come together and created the physical experience that we're having. And, you know, sometimes that's not what we're hoping for. But it's always an invitation to look deeper, that look for the root cause, not just how to alleviate the symptoms. And, you know, modern medicine is all about alleviating symptoms, but they don't always look to like what caused it in the first place. And so you're being invited to look at that. And we look at that for our physical ailments. We also look at that for our emotional responses and reactions. You know, sometimes we react really strongly to situations, and it's like, why was that coming out so strongly? And so there are these layers of beliefs that when they click together, They create dominoes, and the dominoes will impact our emotions. It'll impact our thoughts. It'll start to bother our physical body as well. And lots of times it can get us in a place where we get a little disconnected from our spirit or our spiritual team too. So you're being invited to look beneath the surface. And if you need some help, just let me know, because it's one of my favorite things to do. I'm always digging and seeing what's under there. So there you go. Thank you, Kevin. We can all use that one tonight. Hi, Stacy. Love the pink hand waving. All right, let's see. So your card is Release the Creative Genius. Unload the weight and fly to the sky. So, how are you not allowing yourself to be creative? We all go through phases where we get so busy adulting that we don't take time to feed that creativity. And creativity is such an innate part of our being. You see it in children, they create these stories and they do all of these things. They do it naturally. It's not something we have to work at. But as adults, we often close that down. So think about some ways you could let out your creativity. Maybe it would be in creating a beautiful garden space for yourself or for others. Maybe it's doing some singing or painting or music or dance. Or maybe it is learning to cook something that really inspires your juices. But you want to feel that passion of ooh, I can't wait to do this. And allow yourself space to do that. Because creativity really is it's the change agent that changes the planet around us. When we get caught in our negative thought patterns and in our constant belief system of this is how it is, this is how it always is, we stifle the possibilities getting changed. So one of the best ways to start to change the planet is by finding ways to be creative. And it doesn't have to be something that, you don't have to create art to be shown to other people. You can doodle on a page and play with some colored pens and just allow that energy to flow. Sometimes you can go on an artist date that Julia Cameron talks about in The Artist Way, which really is just going somewhere that brings you inspiration, that activates in you, I really want to create something new. Maybe I want to freshen up my living room or change out. I want brand new sheets so that I have a new color in my bedroom. It doesn't have to be a lot to have that creative influence. Maybe bring in some fresh flowers. But think about how you can be creative. And again, it doesn't have to be big, just a little tiny bit. And a little bit goes a long way. And maybe it's connected to the artist walk in Sanford, right? That the second Friday, I think it is, of every month, they invite artists of all kinds to go and set up and maybe just go visit and see what art is starting to flourish in the area that you are, the area we are. All right, my dear, hope that was helpful. Get those creative juices flowing. We all need to do that. You're very welcome, Kevin. Glad you were here. Julie, nice to have you. Let's see what we've got. All right. Tackle adversity head on. A path with no bend. Wasn't sure I was reading that right. A path with no bend is boring. um, so one of the things that this says to me is that we are all in these places at various points in time where things have been done the same way over and over. Doesn't mean it's the best way to do it, and it doesn't mean that's the only way to do it. But some people are so entrenched in the way it's always been that they don't allow space for things to change. And so sometimes we have to really push. Push isn't quite the right word, but I'm like, that's what I'm visually seeing, which is, not so much tackling like a football tackle. This adversity jerseys that says adversity and you're tackling. But it's going toe to toe. And there's a lot of bully energy that's out there right now. And the bully energy that is really lit up really doesn't like somebody to say, no, that's not how we're doing it. And so some of us are being encouraged to stand up and say, no, we're not doing it your way. We're not doing it that way because that's not the best thing for everybody. It's the best thing for you, but it's not the best for everybody. And so when you see somebody who's got an agenda and it's their way or the highway, it's a very linear path. It's very straight forward. And it can have a cutting edge to it. So sometimes people don't want to get in the way of that because, they've got a plan. But the plan may be decades old and it may not be relevant anymore. And also remember that as a feminine leader that you are, we are often tasked with standing up to that bully energy by being the voice for others who can't, or who, are stuttering in silence. And so we step up and we say the thing that needs to be said. And it's not easy, but when we feel called to that, it's time for somebody to say something so that real change can happen. There's so many levels and layers of that across the planet right now, that we're all getting opportunities to do that at a local level. And so you have some version of that. And it may seem like it's not going to, oh God, that's so difficult. I just don't want to bother. It's not as hard as you think. And a lot of times people are surprised by how adamantly other people don't agree. And it shifts the mentality, it shifts the focus, and it allows people who just have too much trauma, maybe, to speak up. Being the voice is really important when you're able to wield that voice, and you have a beautiful voice, you're well-spoken, and you have such strong leadership skills. So get out there and face it head on, because it's needed and it'll go easily, actually. It's not going to be that big of a deal. I think it's more of a surprise. Oh, you don't want it that way? Yeah, no. None of us want it that way. Oh, okay. Got any other ideas? That kind of thing. So Don't make it too big of a deal. Just step right up, use that voice, and know you're speaking for a bunch of people who are uneasy about speaking for themselves. Nice. Thanks, Julie. Alan, nice to have you, dear. Oh, nice. Generate new ideas. Use your imagination, not memories. That's what I thought it said. Had to double check a couple of these cards. We can get caught in, this is similar to Julie's in the, this is how it's always been. So the memories of, every 4th of July, this is what we've always done. We get into these habits, these rhythms, and sometimes they're beautiful to keep. But lots of times there's no creative energy to that. There's no making the holiday yours. There's no making your home yours. Maybe your home feels like, it's a home you shared with somebody else, and maybe their presence is much more ingrained in there. And so there's this sense of trying new things, doing new things, spreading your wings, allowing yourself to imagine the life you've always wanted and head in that direction. And it's easy to say why you can't. We can always create 1,000 excuses why we can't. But our inner child is so tired of no. How about shifting the focus to that place where, how can I say yes to this? Is there a way for me to say yes? And getting creative on finding ways to say yes. Yes to what your soul's yearning for. Yes to what your inner child wants to experience. Yes to getting out of the rut of doing it the way it's always been done. Yes to letting yourself expand and find more joy and more love. Yes, yes, yes. All of the above, please. So that is what those new ideas are wanting to come to fruition. And learn to trust yourself and trust your team to guide you. And yeah, don't worry so much. Have some fun and be creative. That seems to be the theme for the entire day so far. Let's everybody find some creative problem-solving things and access that energy. Awesome. Thanks, Ellen. Nice to have you. Deanna, my emoji girl. Love it. All right, let's see. Ooh. Glory of the Garden. I don't think I've ever pulled this card. I love it. This would be an awesome poster or painting. Glory of the garden. You are the root, the body, and the fruit. Isn't that so true? We often talk about the tree of life, that we are a tree, that we have those roots and that we have that firm structure and that, our energy blossoms out. But there is that sense of that flower energy as well. And when we embrace who we truly are, we really allow our inner beauty to come out and match the outer beauty, or the outer beauty starts to match the inner beauty. And when we feel like we are the gift, right? We're the fruit of all the labor we've gone through. And we are the body that has experienced all that, and we are the anchor of our experience, our experiences. Um, so finding ways to celebrate your magnificence. And I know that makes everybody go, because we don't want to come off as like too big for our britches or something. But, you know, a rose doesn't worry about what other people think, right? Rose just blooms and loves that, you know, the various insects come by and enjoy the beauty, and that we come by and we enjoy the beauty, and we caress the leaves, and we breathe in all of that energy and all of that lovely scent. And it's all about being in the experience with the rose. And we are that flower, so being in that place where other people like to hang out with us, maybe we pollinate by sharing ideas and thoughts with other people. So those little seeds can plant elsewhere. And maybe we just take a moment to share the beauty of living and experiencing life. So find ways to be that beautiful flower, because you really truly are. And I know you know that. But sometimes we hide. But you're being invited to kind of like let that inner beauty start to show up in your outer beauty too. Maybe find something new to wear that feels like you. Maybe a color you haven't embraced in a while, or maybe a really soft fabric that's luxurious. Um, but bring out that glory and that beauty, because not only does it allow you to embrace that part of yourself, but it also invites other people to do the same. And sometimes we are the first one. We take the first step so other people can feel comfortable with that. That's how you do the leadership too. So I guess leadership and creativity are on tap tonight. Thank you, Deanna. Have a great week. Hi, Bernadette. Nice to have you. All right. Let's see. Has my mermaid family been trying to connect with me? Well, water energy is actually very on tap right now. We're in a very water, a fluid time. Let me put it that way. And the ocean calling, the ocean's been calling really since the summer solstice. So we've been feeling that amplification. So the mermaid energy in general has been really on tap. So I'm not surprised. And the mermaids are huge with getting into the flow and using our creativity and having fun and playing and frolicking. So I wouldn't be surprised that it's connected to that. So your card says to bask in silence, away with the noise of the thoughts. So the difficulty that we all do, is that when that, thinking brain turns on, or that talking voice is there, it just chatters away, and almost without pause or without breathing, right? And it gets just noisy. And one of the things that my team has been having me do when that wants to amplify is just stopping right in that moment, taking a deep breath, and looking for something in my surrounding that I'm grateful for. So right now I'm grateful for, you guys being here. I'm grateful for a beautiful card deck that I can use to connect with our spiritual teams. I am really grateful for the lemonade that's by me, and that it's that time of year again to have lemonade, to quench my thirst. And that when I'm in that place, then any chatter dissolves away. And in the silence is when we can start to hear our team. So mermaids are also part of your team. And fairies, I don't know if you connect with the fairies, but I'm hearing the fairies too. So, but for them to come through, they have like little tiny glitter, glittery voices is how it's coming through. And so we have to listen. It's the sweet little giggles that invite in, like, oh, there's play going on. And your inner child is really tapped into that. But as an adult, we get in our to-do list and all the things we have to do. And so sometimes we don't hear the child sort of tugging at us, going, hey, there's mermaids around, or hey, the fairies are trying to play with us. So allow yourself some space to get in each moment. That's also where our deepest healing happens, when we're really present. The noisy thoughts are trying to distract us from the healing that is happening within our body. And so find some ways in this week, for some quiet. There's a lot of noise that can be happening during the 4th of July. But there's also these precious moments of like, whew, sitting out in the sun and just reading a good book, or sitting under a shade tree and letting the tree ground and support you. Being by the water, especially the ocean, to really reconnect with that mermaid energy, allowing yourself some time to frolic in the waves. And let that spontaneous energy come out. When we have a plan and we always follow the plan, sometimes it's good to throw the plan out the window and let some spontaneity come in. Allow your intuition to maybe guide you, or your inner child to guide you, to be like, what's next? What's the next adventure I can have today? With my mermaids, with my fairies, with my inner child. What magical thing can I connect to today or next? And watch it unfold. Whenever I do that, it brings so much joy and happiness, and so much healing happens in that space, because we get out of our own way and we don't let others dictate our life in that moment, and we can experience that beautiful freedom of just being. I hope all of us can do that this weekend. Love that, Bernadette. Thank you. I hear them lots of times as almost close to dolphins. There's a couple places where I hear them really strongly, but it's almost always right by the ocean. I have a friend of mine who can hear them even more clearly than I am, because she is total mermaid. And I'm like mermaid adjacent. So I hope that answers that. I hear them, but more like dolphins speak than I do like humans speak. All right. Hello, Mary. Nice. Listen to suitable guidance. The wayfarer knows the course. So what I'm sensing is be careful who you ask for guidance from. We all have that, right? Like we know who's going to be negative and tell us no or why we can't do something. It's like don't invite them in for your big dreams. Find people will be supportive, um and when you're looking for guidance, find that mentor who really they either have the life that you want to have or they have an ease about their life that you want to have, and welcome in their guidance. And we're all in that place where we have people who can guide us. Obviously, our spiritual teams can guide us all the time, but sometimes there's that human connection that helps us feel like seen and heard. And so this might be, finding a coach to work with. This might be having a deep reading with somebody like me, who can tap into certain questions for you. But it's finding somebody that you trust and who has something you're striving for, even if it's just like more balance in their life or because we can always learn something new. But we don't want to be guided by people who don't have the life we want, and there's some people who are always going to tell us why we can't, there's just certain things I don't share with family until it's complete. I love them deeply, but they can't always hold or see the vision that my team is sharing with me. So I just wait until I can be like, hey, look at this new thing I did. And not necessarily share the process with them. And I've also learned, I'm sure all of us have that, don't share plans with people who aren't going to be supportive, because it can take all the joy out of what we're doing. And that's not the point. Be in the creativity, be in that expansive place, and find somebody who is a mentor, a guide that you can trust and that you respect. That's a big word. Yeah, so there you go. And they know the way to get you there. You probably have an inkling yourself, but sometimes it helps to have somebody else point the way. And even I have mentors, so there you go. You're very welcome, Bernadette. So lovely to have you here. All right, Rob, we're going to round out our night. Let's see what we got. Aw. Healing power of love. Feel the alchemy of love within you. I love that. That heart of ours, that love energy, it really does heal all wounds. It is the fullness, the unconditional love of the divine. It soothes our soul, our spirit, our emotions in so many ways. And one of the ways is that when we start to love ourselves as deeply as spirit loves us, then our world starts to shift. We really start to experience other people treating us with love and kindness because we're treating ourselves with love and kindness. And when we want to experience really deep connections with other people and really meaningful relationships, we have to open that heart and allow the heart to guide us. And, we've all had a heartache. We've all had our gentle little hearts hurt. But that's part of the beauty of the experience. And so just letting that heart space open up and sharing things you love to do, like your music, and singing, and even the healing work that you love to do, and being in that place where if you're constantly aligning your life with what you love and with who you love, all the magic will gently unfold, because you'll be releasing fear and worry and doubt and frustration, and you'll be leaning into the magic. We all need that. Love it. All right, guys. I am so happy you were here with me. Thank you, Stacy. And make sure that, if you haven't already liked and subscribed to our channel, please do so. You'll start to see some extra information showing up on the Trinity Temple of Sacred Wisdom page, because things are moving here in Maine, and things are starting to shift and change, and I'm going to be offering things in person in my new space in Springvale, Maine. So for those of you who are nearby, can't wait to see you in person. And with that, you guys, thanks for being here for yourself. Thank you for helping me with my spiritual path by being a messenger. And with that, bye for now.